So I figured 8 hours per day, 8 hours per week,
Yeah.
and then and it came up to a little bit under 10 grand, but I figured if I needed more, or whatever, so I figured 11,000 per year for secretary.
And how much for Sam?
So I left it budgeted as a full-time position, although Sam's
Right.
part-time. But I have 50,000 budgeted, but Sam won't take up that much, so I'm figuring, the part-time academy is maybe a thing of the past, because,
I've heard
they
that.
can't get enough people to put, like, they were gonna do one in July, but they didn't have enough people that signed up for it, so they had to cancel it, and then they're talking about just getting rid of it altogether. So, I want to stay budgeted for 2 full-time positions, because if Sam quit tomorrow, I would be able to replace him with another part-time officer, so I want that option for another full-time. I forget where I was going with that train of thought. What'd you ask?
Just how much Sam
How much
makes.
Sam makes?
Oh,
Well, he
so,
makes 30, 50,
yeah,
but
30, 50, and then he can only work on average about 24 hours a week. So that adds up to like.
that's it.
calculate
So
it,
have you calculated an increase for everybody for this next year?
Yeah, I was planning on doing like a 3% cost of living increase roughly, which I think I did the math and I do have enough in the wages line item for that.
And what would your salary go to?
80,000.
You're getting darn cheap help.
Yeah. Well, I figured that based on what Sarah makes, and I didn't want to overdo it. so-
Right, exactly. I understand that, but I'm just saying,
Yeah,
for a professional.
yes.
Can you say why this year are the utilities and phone, we have no? Was that included in another line item?
Yeah, all, in years past, it was in supplies, so I created the phone.
Alright.
So you'll see my supplies drop down, and then I move that money to the phone.
And that's only right to do. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
phone utilities are not supplies.
Yep.
Yeah.
New cruiser?
Yep. A new cruiser on to expend from the capital reserve, which I believe I have about 60,000, that we're referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to establish a rotation, because most police departments keep a single cruiser for about 6 years. So I'd like to try to get a rotation going, because we just replaced my oldest one, which was 2014, I believe, we were able to purchase it used from the county, it's 2020. So and now we have a 2016 still, which needs to be replaced. So the plan would be to buy a new cruiser this year and then start saving up again, so then get about another 3-4 years out of the 2020 that we just purchased. And then that way we have a good rotation.
60,000 covers with a cruiser.
It would have if I bought it last year. I just got a quote for 52,000 for a Chevy Tahoe, and last year it was 42,000. And on top of that, I was told it takes anywhere from about 15 to 30,000 to completely outfit it with radio, with cages, and all that stuff. So I'm gonna get some more quotes. I'll get quotes from Ford and maybe a couple of different dealerships, and go from there.
Why do you need a cage? Yeah. There's no wild people in Grafton.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
How do you live?
Another thing on your warrant article, when I spoke to you that before, and I think, I'd like to see you and Sam approach the selectmen on that warrant article and make sure it gets put on. Is is to create a revolving account, so if you guys get onto paid duty, that money comes back to the police department.
Yeah, I think I did. Did I not put that on my
No.
request? I thought I did.
Well,
Yeah, so she put on this,
Right, establish.
establish a RA loan account, yep. So,
So,
I think that.
I just don't wanna see it lie dead, and nothing happen, because I've followed that for a number of years with Russell on it, and nothing came of it, and, but,
Yeah, so I'll ask, was it Sarah then would be the one to
yeah,
remind about that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be sure to do that.
How do you like that new vehicle?
The new vehicle, it's doing good so far. I mean, I've had it for, I think, about a month or so. Right now I was without a cruiser because, when I got it inspected, there were a couple of recalls. So it's being fixed right now, at, the dealership. So other than the recalls, I mean, not having a cruiser today, it's been pretty good, but there are, it's a recall, so it's no
Mhm.
cost to us.
Right?
So.
anybody else have any questions for him? If anybody wants to know, I guess, pink handcuffs for,
Pink handcuffs.
Pink
Yeah,
handcuffs?
that's not included in my budget.
I don't
I
like
don't have-
pink.
I don't think I have pink handcuffs.
Are all cruisers sold to cover for new ones?
Some towns, I think, do that, they go to auction. In this case, I asked the fire chief and he wanted my cruiser, so I went and had it, no cost, just because it was staying within town.
He's gonna use it instead of using his own vehicle when there's a fire.
right, yeah,
Because if he goes to a fire, he can get paid for his mileage from Grafton to wherever, but he lets his vehicle run the whole time it's there, which uses up fuel, which he doesn't get paid for. So he figured if he would utilize Russell's, Mitchell's old car so that he wouldn't be spending money on
I
gas.
think he also mentioned something to do with the insurance, not liking
Right,
transportation of dirty hoses in personal vehicles or
Yep.
something, so I think he's gonna use it for that as well.
that
Yeah,
too.
those would be, questions for him.
And if he had level one people, they would be able to take it to
Oh, for training.
wherever the class was.
So it is still a town vehicle.
Yeah, my old cruiser, yeah.
Yeah, they
Right.
took all the stuff off it
Yeah, all the police,
though. Yeah.
related stuff.
anybody else have any questions for him? No volunteers to do stuff.
got recommended by my husband's family to take care of his aunt, and then, she had friends.
So
So my
it's still
6-month
old.
position is now 2.5 years, almost three and a half years now.
I'll keep you out of trouble.
Oh, it does.
I don't have a lot of questions. I mean, this is a budget that's pretty much like most of mine, they're estimates. You don't know how many people are gonna come to you, you don't know.
No, and we did find out we can't refuse anyone if they complete all the paperwork, so.
Of course, it's always been that way.
So that means you have to give them something. You
Yes.
can't
If
refer them to other
everything
resources.
is complete,
Yep,
if
they-
it is
they qualify.
absolutely necessary. Yes.
But I think from what Heather said the other night too, I mean, you guys are really, really diligent about referring them to places that,
I have a spreadsheet of
you know, I really don't.
helpful organizations in the area.
I am surprised that there isn't a greater need because of what's happened in our economy and so forth.
To be honest though, Grafton isn't a hub. There is no public transportation. There's very little apartment buildings. It's mainly winter time. You know, we don't have the fuel, okay? Never.
Unfortunately, the few apartment complexes are the ones that draw this money.
I did warn some of the new landlords to please, please, please do a background check, and if you need any help, I will do it free of cost.
Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Well, we have to ask Candy Moore. We brought her out here.
Well,
She doesn't
Pretty
care, she's
straightforward.
tired, she wants to go to bed.
So who are you gonna bury for $2,200?
Actually, you can, New Hampshire Crematory, 17.
Is that the crematory.com?
No, it's New Hampshire Crematory down in Bosco.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I passed on some information to Heather, and I don't know if it's got lost or not. But should the town welfare come up to a burial, like cremation, if you get a hold of the city of Lebanon welfare director,
Lynn?
is that who it is?
Yeah.
They discovered a grant that pays for their burials.
I was thinking as much, because the majority of the people that are shut-ins are veterans,
Yeah,
and the VA will cover most.
yeah,
Or the Vets Association.
they paid for someone in Grafton that was no longer living in Grafton, but was a resident of Grafton one time.
So, and how did they apply for a grant? Like, is it just say, we would like a $30,000 grant in case we have to?
No,
borrow?
it's per
Or
case.
on a
It's
per
just
case?
on a case, it's,
So, and they turn around that quickly?
from what I hear, yes.
As long as you provide them with all the documentation.
So that would have to come from the family.
And make sure it all goes in one swoop, because
Oh.
if it's more than one email, it kind of gets lost.
Right.
And always give them more than what they ask, just in case.
Okay.
Some people don't have any family.
I think it's true.
That's what I was,
Yeah, and
the
the
position of
welfare
doing.
director or go do the,
My
So
88, 85, I have no families.
Who do you turn to in that case to get it, like a grant? How would you?
First I start with Google, or I call in.
I would say call Lynn, because this is something that I learned this past year.
We also have a welfare society that we go to conferences on. I pay for my own because it's not worth sitting in all the
Well, you do have money in training membership and conferences.
time. But sometimes, Monica and I go down to Kano and I work a day trip fund. Listen, learn. Hear stories from the bigger towns that makes me very, very thankful.
Well,
I
this was what we were
heard
talking about the other day.
that we had
Under
a,
which,
Well, no, it was under miscellaneous. There's
I thought that.
people with that.
Fraudulent case?
no, it has a Well, I wouldn't be surprised, because I've had a couple of them before, calling to rights, but, no. Is there anybody who has a welfare lien on the property, or does the town owe Ricker Funeral Home?
Yes.
If we do, then it should be taken care of. I mean, I don't know the particulars, I just know that, that's what I heard, so.
The town owns Rickers?
Yes.
Is that
There was a-
presented to
yeah.
us?
There was a man who took and passed away. And he was sent to Ricker's funeral home. Ricker's took and approached the welfare director and had, was said, this guy's got no family, and his family didn't want nothing to do with him. So, at the same token, the town took his property. So what has been set up is that when the property is sold,
Rickers will get paid.
Rickers will get paid.
That's
they-
not right.
But there should have been a welfare, oh, I see, because the
No.
town took it.
How long?
And no one could
ago
apply
was
on
this?
his behalf.
There is a family member.
Yeah, they
There
want
is.
nothing to do with them.
No, that's not true.
That's what he just said.
That's what Ed said, I'm
Oh,
saying that's not
Okay,
true.
okay, sorry, I misunderstood.
I know firsthand, that that's not true.
Well,
But there's more details that we should not be
No,
discussing
right.
here.
Right,
but
Is
that's
there
what,
anything that pertains to me?
no.
Okay.
No, the
Is
thing
there something I
being,
have to worry about?
and this is something that I said to Heather too, is, I forget how much the bill, Ricker
For
took
Rickers, it should be 37 to 42.
for cremation.
Mm-hmm.
It's how much?
37 to 4,200.
No.
Is it more than that?
Yeah, well, I want to say it was like 2,800.
Yeah, I know
But
it's
the
at
thing
least
being-
$1,000 more.
Yes, but the thing being is, I took and I approached Chadwick Funeral Home, and I also told this to Heather too, that Chadwick would take and work with the town on cremation, and their fee was a lot less than what Ricker was getting. And,
Rickers,
most expensive.
they are, unfortunately.
Well, see, I don't know the particulars, I was just told, well, the town owes Ricker and they should pay them.
The agreement was when the property got sold, that, or if any family members came to save the property, that would be added to their bill at the time.
Did you file a lien, so just in case that happened?
Really, I don't see how the town could,
Yeah.
they don't have any ground to
I
stand
don't
on.
know what happened. I don't know what the deal
Well,
was.
you can't just make a gentleman's agreement when it comes to property and family. You have to put the paperwork in place. Right?
Yes, well, yeah, you should have paperwork, you should know what the hell's going on.
So, are we good with this?
But
Okay, thank you.
I'd appreciate it though, if you would just look into it and see what you can find out, and then just let me know. And if we do owe them, I feel we should pay. That's all,
Okay.
I mean, that's how I feel.
All right. You all have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Where is that? put up all the skeletons,
I did,
all the ones that were in your closet?
yeah, not those.
Ooh, well said.
They're in the barn, not the closet.
Library, step forward.
Your chair.
No, I'm good. I just had a, before you guys start, I wasn't aware that I was coming here until a half hour ago at the previous meeting. Did you get the thing I sent you?
What thing?
A list, a breakdown of all the individual expenses? I gave it to the budget committee.
I didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
It's for here. This,
Can I s-
No,
Oh, this is,
library?
that's not it.
No, that's not it. I thought I gave it to Catherine to bring.
Account activity, oh, this is all the same thing, this is the
I
same.
don't have it. I don't have it with me.
Third,
There's a breakdown of everything, so
so,
I'll do
So
my
what
best. You have it?
Yes, everybody should have it.
what
Oh,
is it?
everybody should have.
Yes. Did you give that to us tonight?
Not tonight,
Oh, I didn't have that.
because Catherine brought it in after,
Can I see that for a second, please?
well,
Okay, good. So if I need
this is
to,
what Karen, this is what Karen did.
yeah, I know that
Oh,
was
but
a
that's-
quarrel,
Not what you're talking
no,
but I may need to refer to that. I didn't know I was coming to the
Well,
meeting.
why
I
don't
would
you
have it.
take that, since none of us have it, so you.
Can I have it?
Well,
Can I'll give it back to you. I'll give it back to you, I swear. But I gotta have something to reference.
I don't know if I.
I got, no, my mind's got way too much going on.
It's basically, all it is a breakdown of what the selectmen took and recommended, and
Well, that's what we need.
Yeah, I broke down exactly what the specific costs were.
Perfect, yeah.
So you're asking for a 5% increase. I have a question about programs. $250 was a request. What programs does that include then?
Well, this is Sandy's first year, and they already did a couple beading programs, so it's gonna be programs that the director, for expenses, for programs that the director is going to be incorporating for families and children.
So this is extra than what you're already doing at the library?
It will be, yeah. It will be, yeah. Yeah, this is
So are these fun programs? What kind of-
fun.
Yeah, are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or creative.
uh-huh.
They could be educational, whatever the director decides to do, you know, like they did, I know one year they did hikes and they bought snacks and stuff. So yeah, whatever, it could be educational, it could be anything the director, outside program that's outside of normal library operations that allows, you know, children and parents or whoever to, you know, and it pays for expenses like, you know, even though usually we supply, you know, volunteers supply the food and refreshments, but like, you know, beads or whatever they're going to be doing for the project, if there is expenses for it.
Oh, you had it.
Yeah, and plus people donate a lot of stuff, so, you know, but you just don't know what type, this gives her room to create programs that, you know,
I'm cold again, because I can't.
What do you see for the future in library operations?
as far as what?
Anything? Operating?
For the future of what?
The library.
I'd say we're following our strategic plan, which calls for kind of optimizing our hours that we operate. So we did move around hours this year to see if we would boost patronage in the library. I'd say really, I mean, staffing has been difficult, so just keeping our staff happy and keeping our staff at the library is, I'd say, top priority of sure our circulating media is where it should be, and then it's continuing to reflect the reading and watching habits of our residents. Yeah, I mean, our strategic plan does call for, more programming, so, that's why we did put that in the budget this year, but also collaborating on programming, so whether that's with Fogel, or whether it's with the Historical Society, or what other groups in town, but getting our name out there.
I have a question regarding, and I don't know if this is still being done, but I do recall walking into the library and somebody doing a checklist of how many people, how many patrons have actually come into the library. And at one of the library trustee meetings, I know that you reported on that, gave how many walk-ins and all of that. But I was just wondering, because of all the new programs that you've established, like the watercolor, the astronomy, what else did I participate? Book club, for example. I do know that at one night we had.
They even had some
17
chess
people
clubs
there.
for a chess club for a little
And we
bit.
did puzzles too for a while.
Mhm.
But I was just wondering, how do you incorporate those people into your count? And I know that it's not somebody going into the library to take out a book or to sit at the computer and do research, but this seems to me where libraries are progressing to in our country. They're a social atmosphere, someplace for people to congregate as well as to learn, etc. So how do you account for those additional people in these clubs? Because certainly they may not be taking out a book, but they are participating in that extracurricular function that libraries are developing into.
Well,
We just talked about this tonight.
yeah, right, at our meeting, because, that was one of the, jobs that, Sandy hadn't been reporting on. And we explained to her that she needed to report on that. But I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that is important to get all, how many people are using the library, regardless of whether it's a program, taking out a book,
Yeah.
whatever.
And even, for example, here, when you had that lecture with the gentleman who did information on the meeting house,
Yep.
was that a library-sponsored
Technically
session?
full.
I think that was a full,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, I think that, that we've explained to the director tonight that we need to start tracking those numbers, because she wasn't. And I won't say that we weren't a little lax on getting her to do it either, but she's my sister and I don't like telling her what to do.
Your
So
older
that's-
sister.
That ain't what she said.
Oh, I know, that's the problem, right there in a nutshell, Ed.
Any improvements slated for our present library?
Physical improvements? Well, it's been on our list
The
for a while.
present building
Yeah,
or the library as an entity?
no, the building. I'm talking home improvement projects on the building.
Yeah, we've got to repaint the porch ceiling.
And that's about really it.
That is almost a.
Because, Stacy had done all that painting, and then I think they had the floor refinished as well at that point. And plus we had the roof done last year, I believe. Again, I haven't been involved in all these projects yet, I have, so, but yeah.
We knocked a lot of stuff off the list.
Yeah, so there isn't much to do as far as home improvement or library improvement. As far as the building itself, it's pretty, it is what it is,
The garden looked very nice this summer.
He did a really good job with that, really good job.
I did have one more thing. And employee retention, now, I understand that Ella is no longer,
Yeah,
so,
we have, we've just, she's in the process of hiring, believe Robin Feld, I don't know if you know Robin Feld, she lives up on, Riddle Hill, I think it's gonna be a Saturday person, and Donna Holman is gonna be a sub. As far as retainment goes, we can't say much because we had to go to non-public session with that situation, but it was nothing.
I mean, it's just,
It's not-
teenagers are taught, I mean, they have their schedules and responsibilities.
Right,
We've,
right.
we found, well, Samantha was actually a very good, employee, and she was 16,
No, Ellie, you mean?
Samantha, before.
Smith.
Samantha Smith.
Oh, Samantha Smith, yeah.
I think in general,
Mhm.
we've kind of moved from,
Mm.
Yeah,
we
know.
tried it and it was,
Yeah,
it worked, it didn't work.
somebody that young, being that responsible for a building and everything, and plus, being a public, place where people come in.
And
Yeah,
just being alone in that building, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's 14, 15, that's
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
by yourself.
Well, I didn't need to go into
yeah,
personal situation.
right.
Yeah, and I'm working up in Gilman, New Hampshire with the town clerks up there, and they refuse to have night hours because they don't feel safe. And it's like, are you kidding me? So most of my hours are at night and I'm alone.
Well, especially when people work days, you know what I mean? Doesn't make sense.
I guess my questions were really an aside from the budget, right?
So I have a question because it looks like, so what we have in front of us is a new list from Sarah. So that this was made up after your meeting with her. So you had requested 2,000 in heating oil, and the selectmen have recommended 1,300. Is that adequate? I mean, I know it says here
well-
that you haven't really spent 1,000 this year, but we haven't come to cold weather yet either.
Right, well, we looked at what it, had cost us, and they also said they did a pre-buy, and that the price was locked in at a certain amount.
So this 1,300,
They felt like the 1,300 would suffice, and I agreed, as long as they realize that they're gonna be on the hook for if it doesn't.
I have the gallonage that was used in my.
Oh, for the,
Do you want to see that, or is this?
it's up to you, I mean, I think it's fine.
So my take is sitting on the budget committee is I'm not looking at what you spent in the past or what my philosophy is what you need. So that when I ask questions, it's like,
Yeah, I
Is
don't
this
think we should be
adequate?
punished for returning money to taxpayers.
yeah,
The town has locked in a price of
But that's what they just said.
$3.39 a gallon down from $4.69, so it's quite a significant reduction.
I think now we don't have, Monday's not open, the library's not open on Mondays at all anymore, right? It's just
Oh.
Wednesdays and Saturdays, so we also
Okay.
thought there'd be some savings with
okay.
that.
But then you also have people coming in at night, like book club.
True.
Yeah,
you know,
Yep,
other
yep,
events.
or possibly, the watercoloring is between
Mhm.
shifts, but the building's warm, and I'm gonna tell you, in the middle of winter, when I go over into that building, doesn't exactly, it's not much insulation there.
Well, remember, it took me 8 years to get heat in my office.
Well, no hasty decisions going on around here.
But whose fault was that? Didn't they cover the
Thermostat?
thermostat up?
No, it's because the thermostat's in that middle room. And so
Doors are
that,
closed.
yeah, so it heated that middle room fine, but there was no way the heat could get into my room. But that's not anything to do with the library. I don't have any other questions.
Do you wanna take a quick peek at this?
I got it, Karen just gave it to us.
Oh, okay, great.
I don't have any, I mean, Sandy's asked.
I've got a few for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wages-
I've been waiting for it.
I know. You might not like it. Wages for, so far this year, you only spent 6,200, but you're looking for almost 14,000.
Do you wanna take that, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it sound like a broken record, but because of staff retention issues, we didn't have the staffing that the library's not fully staffed for a portion of the year.
But,
So the numbers are a little.
you said that because Debbie said that at the selectmen's meeting when she presented the budget.
No, he didn't say that because of that. He says it because it's true, number one, and number two.
Yes, but the thing being is, I pulled out this,
We did get paid, but we didn't get the extra, I just wanna make sure.
It wasn't at the rate of the.
Wasn't at the rate, and there was no, staff meetings, and there was no, the director gets, 3 hours a week for non-open time to work. So all that stuff was not happening at the beginning of the year. We were getting paid at a lower rate, at like $12 an hour.
but is it gonna be that much of a difference between, the 6,200?
Well, you
They
can
can
look
spend
at the
that.
math I did up top, and if you want, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, but I've got how many hours the director gets paid a week, a year, how many hours the assistant gets paid a year, and then they get staff meeting. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, how we did the exact hours again. Now, let's say Sandy takes a week off and a person's making $15 an hour instead of $20 an hour, then there's gonna be a little savings there.
Right.
Let's say a person the sub goes into the hospital and Sandy's gotta do more hours, so now you've got more hours on the other thing. So, I mean, I don't know how you cut it. I mean,
It's just a question.
okay. All right.
When you look at, what you've spent so far, it's just a comparison.
Well, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say to Bonnie's point, we built the budget based on, a normal year of need and operations.
Yeah.
So now, my next one, which is a sore subject, because it came up last year and nothing got handled. Whatever happened to buying a portable toilet instead of renting one?
When we reached out to 3 different porta potty companies, the cost savings was not enough to accept the responsibility of owning our own porta potty.
And he only charges you for cleaning it.
He does not.
Oh, so how much are we paying?
You're paying $135 a month. You could own one for $900. Pay $35, so it brings you up to about $1,200–1,300.
I'll just say, we went through all this math last year,
Exactly.
and the cost savings it wasn't
No,
worth it.
you just don't want to go with it, because the thing being is even Leaf sat in the audience and he pulled up one for $800.
If we're paying $135 a month, and I'll have to admit, I'm not treasurer, I don't see the bills, and in fact, I don't think we see the bills, the town gets the bills and pay them, then we don't even have enough in our budget for it. We only ask them for $1,200, so you think.
Yes, but last
Can we
year,
increase that by 35 times 12?
you won over $2,000. This is what I was saying.
It's because we had.
But when I looked at,
Go into it with it.
yeah, I know, but when I looked at what we've spent so far this year, why are we so under budget if we're spending $135 a month?
That's gonna be my next question to you guys.
I have-
Every year, I get tired of hearing the same thing over and over. How come
We've not received bill. The town. My understanding is the town has not received bills from JVC.
Since
Since
July,
July.
I've called them twice and said, please bill us so we can,
July 14th.
Okay, yeah, so that-
Right,
We can
exactly.
get it.
There hasn't been no bill paid to them since July.
Just to clarify, on April 28th, there was portable toilet cleaning for $298.40. On May 5th, portable toilet cleaning again for $138. 5/26, service for $40. Is that what you're referring to?
All library?
Yeah.
$298?
It was for 2 months. It was for
Yeah,
June
it
and
was,
July.
well, right, there was nothing in January, February, or March. So this first payment that was made was on April 28th for the $298. And then the last
So there's
entry,
3 months?
yeah, right, it would have been like the first quarter
So
of the
it's
year.
$100 a month.
Well, for,
I don't see the bills. We don't see the
well, I'm
bills.
just saying, what I'm not saying.
But we certainly should have done our homework.
Well,
I
you
see
should have
the-
bills.
The maintenance,
The town
It's
decided
for
to pay
sales.
for it.
when they,
It's for
The
clean
town
out.
said they paid for the other ones to be done in town, right?
Yeah.
So they just get the bill and pay it.
I see.
And you're saying they pay extra for just having the porta potty in addition to
They
cleaning?
pay a rental fee plus $35
$35,
for cleaning and pumping.
$35 a month.
it depends if it's summer or winter. Cause they put extra,
And during the winter, there's an extra, I think it's $40.
I have to look back at that. I believe another issue was that there were no porta potties. I know you said you could buy one on Amazon or online, but the shipping would make it more. We did our homework. I mean, you can laugh at. I don't know what to tell you. This feels like a very, actually, I'm tired down there now. I'm
Yeah, go ahead.
heavy and I'm tired. Thank you for your time.
Yes.
This is too much.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but I wasn't involved and I wasn't there.
No, I know you
during
weren't
that.
involved, but I ordered one just before the meeting, and it's sitting in the pole barn, so I know what it costs, and everything. And then Leaf sat in the audience and pulled up his phone and looked at it, and he could pick one up for a little over $700 and something delivered within 10 days.
Well,
Just,
I didn't realize we were renting it.
yeah,
I gotta be honest with you.
So what do you have to do with one of those? If you own it, what do you do with it? Do you have to like dig your own hole or you have to?
no, they come in and pump it.
They're
There's a holding
self-contained.
tank in that unit.
So you would still have to pay then to
You
clean
would
out
pay
the pumps?
$35 a month to
Have it cleaned.
Yeah, they come and clean it.
Yeah,
Okay.
So basically then what you're saying is when the bill comes in, the town just pays the blanket bill for the right
But-
field, the,
But then Sarah breaks it down and tells us how much we've
no,
spent.
when he comes around and does it, it's like he came around about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and did, once at the right field. He dropped the bill right off at the town office. I went in, I signed the paperwork, and his bill got paid. Last year, there was problems that the library wasn't paying it, and he wanted to go and start having, you pay before I come and service it, because they got behind on quite a bit. And he had been in touch with them and everything. And I mean, for $900 and you get that delivered, that's a cost savings. You're not gonna save it all in 1 year.
right, but you will say.
Yes.
Well, I can just say that I wasn't aware that we were renting it. It's certainly something I can look at for next, I mean,
It's something that you should look at. I went in and I asked Sarah for the figures, and it shows right on the bill, rental charge and then the cleaning fee.
so I'm looking at it and saying, well, how come we only spent, when I look at restrooms, how come we only spent 35% of our cost in September?
Because it's at least 3 months that haven't been billed or paid.
But that still doesn't equal 100%. I mean, I'm just saying,
Well, you spent $700 and something.
we spent $700, but, I mean, so I was like, wow, and they budgeted 2040.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if now's the time for me to say, oh, let's go buy one now.
It's something for you to look at.
Yeah,
I don't wanna.
yeah.
It's not the budget committee's role or responsibility to tell you to buy it.
I get that, I
I
get that.
think this conversation got a little belligerent,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
My position on the budget committee is to work with people, not to attack you.
Mhm.
So I think that Ed has a right to suggest, but I think this has been carried on too long.
Okay.
And I
Yes,
think
that's
it's
good.
up to you people to look at that.
Well, once we
Okay.
start talking about potties, we just can't
God,
stop.
I've been talking about them for years.
I even wrote a poem.
I know, and it was great. It was a perfect poem. It was a great haiku. But I'll certainly take a look at with that myself. Okay, anything else?
No.
Alright,
Thank you.
you good? Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Ed, you want this?
Yes,
Because I do have it on my computer. Oh, appreciate it. How's the job on the road, buddy?
Huh?
How's the job on the roads? I mean, you wouldn't believe the amount of compliments that I hear.
Really?
Absolutely. I mean, I came home, I was coming home back when you came here, I get that. Oh, is it? No, I don't, that's, I don't give it the other day. You guys are doing a good job.
Yeah, so what's your,
You guys looking for work? You got try?
Yeah.
The other night, they presented two different ones.
Right.
Yeah, and he gave us two. Oh, yeah, I'll just give it to you.
For working on the roads.
Who got those?
No, I thought I got everything out of the car, but I might have had a different car.
I'm trying to tell, I'm missing a lot of the other things we had earlier.
good, how are you?
Good. You still working?
Huh?
Are you still working?
Yeah. Yeah, actually.
Can I just borrow that for a second, so I can,
Well, on the other side, the drop hole is round like this. You know, back in the old days.
I did my done.
If you punched a hole, you put the spring through, and then you opened it up, and it would hold the papers together. That's what's on the inside of it. Look what I did.
Oh, we are so far behind.
But I don't remember which
I
one
wanted to
it
put
was.
something in the
No,
bottom.
well,
it was that one.
he gave both,
Oh,
but
he
this
did.
is the one he talked on, and nothing happened, we kind of tabled it.
Oh,
Pretty close to it. But I'm actually over, I'm repaired now. I'm closer to 70, but. Because right now I still don't have the bill for repair. I still don't have the care ball for it. Last time I thought I heard from, fixing it.
One was 465 one, and the other one was 441. The 465 one is the one